Is your relationship done, or are you just exhausted? Are you just exhausted by the way things have been going? It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell the difference. But, and I'm not an expert, I've been doing this about 6 years, relationship coaching. But what I'm about to share are my observations in hundreds of hours spent with women in long-term relationships who feel confused at the state of the relationship. They're not sure if they're done, and they're not sure if they're just exhausted by it all. So what I'm going to tell you are the 10 areas that come up that cause the exhaustion, and they're all addressable. So you might find resonance with several of these, and you can follow the thread of which one you kind of want to address first. And that's my value for you, is to see if you can address these areas of your life before calling it, before saying, you know what, I just feel like I'm out of love. You might not be out of love. You might just feel, you might not even be able to feel anything at all. You might be feeling like kind of numb even. So here we go. Your nervous system. We're hearing a lot about the nervous system right now. I know it's a hot topic in our culture. It is just important. We're understanding it better now, so we can actually make changes. We can actually do something about our nervous system state, which is great, which is empowering. You cannot access desire, connection, openness from a chronically dysregulated nervous system state. So if you know whether you're hyper aroused or hypo aroused and you live there most of the time, regulation is going to be your first key. Once you're regulated, then you'll be able to access that openness, that curiosity about your partner, the desire for your partner. But you have to live there most of the time in this regulation in order to know how you feel. Do you create opportunities for connection? Number 2, creating opportunities for connection and taking care of your personal space. Do you have time that is just for you in the week? That is not for your partner. That is not for your kids. That is not for your work, your job, family. Do you create the space that allows your nervous system to get into a regulated state? I find this a very tough thing for a lot of women to do. And when they start doing it, they start feeling like themselves again. They start getting in touch with themselves again. They can feel what they want to feel. They feel all the different things that come up in this spaciousness that they've created for themselves. Number 3, so many women get exhausted by bringing up the same thing and not getting any change. But a lot of what is happening is there's a lot of criticizing, complaining happening. You won't get the change that you want if there's a lot of criticizing and complaining happening. So have you learned how to make a clean request? Have you learned how to turn that complaint into a request? If not, good place to start. You know how it feels when somebody comes at you with criticism or complaining. You're not going to be in an open state to receive that. So offer that to your partner. Offer that respect, to come with an ask, come with a request versus the complaint. Number 4, we all have losing strategies in our relationships. This comes from Terry Real, and these are his 5 listed losing strategies. They don't get you anywhere in your relationship. So if you're feeling like in a loop of the same pattern, of the same dynamic, it's probably because you're using your losing strategy and it's not going anywhere and you don't know how to stop it. Once you are aware of your losing strategies and you try to work on them as much as possible, you'll feel the shift happening in the energetic shift between you two. You won't lose a lot of energy by employing these losing strategies. So this is a great place to start if you've never heard of these. The 5 strategies are the need to be right, the need to control, retaliation, withdrawal, and unbridled self-expression. Which is saying everything you feel when you feel it as much as you want without a filter. That is anti-relational. Number 5, I really don't think most people are great listeners. I think people think they're good listeners, but I think it does require a lot of practice. When you're listening and you are waiting to say your piece or you are waiting to defend, we all know that this is not actual listening. But just knowing it does not always translate to actually practicing real listening. When you listen, and we all want to be heard by our partners, we all want to hear our partners. When you hear what your partner is telling you and you're able to genuinely reflect back what you're hearing from them, they will feel heard. The part that many people get hung up on, and which prevents them from real listening, is believing that hearing them, reflecting back to them what they've said, means that you agree with what they said. And that's not true. You don't have to agree in order to hear them. Number 6, this very tiny habit can change a lot for your relationship. It has for mine. It's made just like a world of difference for my own relationship. And this is the simple act of checking in, if your partner is available, is an act of respect. When you have something important to talk about, or you have something important to say, or even it's just a logistical thing about your day, ask your partner, are you available to hear about this idea I had? Is this okay? Is this a good time for me to bring up something that's on my mind or on my heart? Check in, wait for their answer. When they're a yes, they've bought into this time with you and they're going to hear you better. If you launch into something that you want to talk about just because you want to talk about it at this very time, your partner might not be they might be hungry. They might just need a meal. They might be completely done from their workday and have no energy. They might have something else on their mind that they're mulling through that you've interrupted, and then it feels like discombobulating. There are so many different reasons. It's respecting your partner's capacity and energy, space to check in with them first. Number 7. Do you understand your turn-ons? Do you understand what turns you off? Do you understand your brakes and your accelerators when it comes to your sexuality? If you are kind of lost in that and you have actually no idea and you've never really thought about it too much, the cycle of maybe mismatched desire or rejection or pursuing, that cycle that might be alive in your dynamic, a lot can be cleared up by understanding your own self and your own sexuality. So you have to understand what turns you on and what turns you off. If you know that a lot of your breaks are stress, probably figuring out a way to feel less stressful or get more things off your plate or whatever the thing is going to be key to taking off those breaks. Number 8, love and desire require different things. This is from Esther Perel in her first book, Mating in Captivity. She talks about the tension, the tension between love and desire. What is required for love is quite different than what is required for desire. For love, we need safety, we need security, we need closeness, we need knowing the other person really well. And for desire, we need a bit of space, some distance, some mystery. We need novelty. And so how do you cultivate that in a long-term relationship? Being aware of that, the difference, first of all, is key. And then how do you intentionally create the conditions for desire to emerge? Knowing that you need a bit of space. You need a bit of mystery. You need some novelty. Number 9, the ability to talk about sex and intimacy is so important that without it, it degrades, that pattern of not being able to talk about it degrades a relationship quite quickly. So if you have, for whatever reason, you have an inability to speak about sex and intimacy, that would be a good place to start, because not being able to have that open dialogue, we can't understand each other. We can't understand each other's wants or needs. It becomes more of a wall rather than a playground. Number 10, the ability to receive. I was going to say the ability to receive pleasure, and I mean it inside the bedroom and I mean it outside the bedroom. The ability to receive goodness, compliments, gifts, help, affirmation. If you're blocking that, all of those good things, you're allowing yourself to feel depleted. Those receiving goodness, receiving pleasure, receiving compliments and help, receiving gifts, that's energy. That's receiving and that's energizing. It increases your life force energy. It makes yourself feel better about yourself. It lightens your load if you're able to receive help. If you're able to receive pleasure, that's an energizing life force within your body. Do you allow yourself to receive? So those are the 10 areas that I find many women, most women, when they're depleted and they're exhausted, these are the reasons. These are the top 10 reasons. If you want a deeper breakdown, you can go and watch the entire hour breakdown. It's a workshop, and you'll get a better sense of where to start for yourself. If many of these like you really resonated with many of these, go and do the 1 hour workshop. It's free. I'm linking it here, and you'll find out where to start. You'll get clarity on whether this relationship is at the end of the road or whether you can actually do something about the exhaustion that you feel inside the relationship.